Alright. Greetings all, it's DFuxa. And welcome to the first episode for DFuxa Kicks Up Jupiter Hell. Now, to give a full disclaimer for this game, by the way, I will note that this was a Kickstarter game and I have kicked it up, so bear that in mind. Basically watching who we're basically playing here. Basically one of the Kickstarters and backers for this game right here. I basically got the early bird player special where I got the game and as to the access to the backer form and stuff like that. Now this game basically came out actually a little bit ago. It basically came out on August 5th here, 2021. So it's been out for at least half a year for the most part. And I've yet to basically play it for just yet because I was basically busy uploading everything else on my channel. But well, I figured it's time. So let's jump into Jupiter Hell and see what it's all about. Note this is my first time playing it too, so bear with me on that as well. I should probably note, by the way, that Chaos Forces are the people who made Doom RL and Alien RL and I believe Diablo RL.
Have you lost your goddamn minds? You idiots are gonna pay for shooting up my... What the hell? Ugly motherfucker. Shit.
By default, the protagonist of Jupiter Hell is pretty foul-mouthed. The game features an obscene amount of swearing. You can turn off profanity by selecting Clean below. Furthermore, the voiceover follows the silliness that was commonly found among the protagonists of video games from the 1990s. If you don't think you'll enjoy that, select Serious below. You can change to fine-tune the setup at any time in the settings menu. So you have default, clean, serious, and serious clean. Well, let's go with default for now. Alright, so let's just talk a little about Jupiter Hell before I actually jump into the game, because I'll basically give a little bit of backstory about the game. So I'll note that Jupiter Hell is basically made by the guys from Chaos Forge. And they're basically responsible for games such as Doom RL, Aliens RL, and Diablo RL. And all those games basically are essentially IPs that are basically fan made off of other IPs. They're fan games. And I'll note that Jupiter Hell is basically very much derived from one of those games, Doom RL. Now, for those who are basically familiar with Doom is basically all about the Doom Space Marine who basically jumps into Mars, or I guess Earth eventually, and Hell itself. And essentially he goes around killing possessed humans, demons, and all that stuff from Hell. Jupiter Hell is very much in the same vein as Doom, except that it's basically a new IP, and it's essentially in a roguelike format. So essentially take Doom and put it in a roguelike, and that's what Jupiter Hell basically is all about. And I guess you can say it's basically the spiritual successor to Doom RL, since there's that too. Now I'll note that their main reason for basically, like, you know, the you know, developers doing this game here is because it is such a it's like Doom Morale game was such a popular, like, you know, thing that, like, you know, he wanted basically to like do like a new IP basically for it, and like, you know, that's where this basically came from. All right, so let's just like look at this stuff around here first. So we have settings. We have language, so we have, like, you know, English language and, like, you know, probably other languages as well. You have display settings, so there's basically a display. It's basically like, you know, full screen quality, gamma, and, you know, everything else in here. You get screen shake if you want. I'll go into this at some point, but, you know, for now it's just like, you know, leave it as is. Text, audio, and video and voice settings. So there's our music volume, our sound volume, and I guess let's like drop this down a little bit. I have to say the music is not that bad in this game for, like, you know, basically being at 100% there. But let's like drop it down a little bit. So you got heartbeat volume, you got weight tick volume. You have voiceover profanity, so you got, like, you know, heavy, normal, clean, serious, and serious clean. So very, like, you know, simple. Voiceover frequency, so controls how many actions provoke a character's voice line. So essentially, like, you have, like, you know, plot only, short, rare, common. So basically, like, you know, how often, like, the guy, like, your little character will, like, do voiceovers will be a thing. Voiceover subtitles basically disabled, so I can actually enable that if I want to. Maybe I'll enable that just so you can see if, like, you have a hard time, like, you know, listening to the character. Voiceover idle quips, so we have those. Text profanity enabled. We'll apply those settings. Input settings. So something to note about this game, by the way, is that essentially it's basically like, you know, a cardinal roguelike, and essentially what I'm basically talking about here. Roguelikes, traditional roguelikes are usually, like, you know, they basically use, like, the nutpad to, like, control their, like, you know, movement. So you basically have, like, you know, 8 directions that you move, and, like, you know, diagonals and columns and stuff like that. The thing about, like, you know, Jupiter Hell, though, is that it basically has a very minimalist, like, you know, type of, like, you know, key binding set. So you essentially have, like, you know, north, south, east, west, basically up, down, left, right, like tertiary keys on your keyboard. You have an action for space. You have, like, you know, wait button. Reload, get inventory, and all your, like, you know, stuff right there. But the thing about, like, this game here is that, like, you know, this might look like a lot of, like, you know, buttons basically to, like, do stuff with, but this is nothing for roguelike. So this is like a very minimalist, like, roguelike in terms of like its controls. You don't need that many controls basically to operate this game. So well, it is all right there, I guess. Version reset to default. I thought I canceled it, X me out of that thing, but whatever. Alright, so there's the key bindings. You have, like, the UI key binding, so up, down, left, right, all this other stuff right here. Ah, interesting, just controller setup. So if you want to, you can actually use a controller to play this game. And of course it's got rumble and, like, other stuff like that, so that's a thing as well. So controller support is enabled for this game. Alright, input, repeat delay, input, repeat interval, map key mode. So basically you can hold down for the map, or, like, you know, you can toggle it basically. I'll put in toggle. So I have no idea what this all basically does, so I'm just gonna leave it alone for now. We'll just get that. Alright, so that's basically input settings. You have UI and UI effects settings. So you have a minimum of scale, transparency, lots of, like, awesome stuff here basically. So let's see here. I could skip the tutorial, but, you know, I haven't actually played this game before, so I should leave it on for the first time. Remember previous name, you can have it disabled if you want to. I think I, like, you know, want that disabled, but no, I'll enable it. I'm just going to be the same character over and over again, right? So why never? Skip name entry, so set to enable to skip name entry and use default. So you actually have a default name, I guess. That's cool. Discord breaks presence, so set to disable to turn off Discord. info panel while playing. So that might actually be like, you know, integration with Discord, like the chat service. So that could be a thing as well. I got tutorial hints enabled, war on Intel, all this other stuff. So that's basically the settings right there. I don't have any high scores, so I guess there's like no like online leaderboards for this game just yet. There's player data, so basic player data general. Current rank is private. To achieve the rank of private first class, you need to get 1 bronze badge. So, you know, you can see like just my like stats there. I got like no deaths, no kills, no wins. There's basically like, you know, our like character classes at the bottom there, or like difficulties and stuff like that. I want to look around here a little bit. So, player data, uniques, exotics. So that's basically like the stuff we can basically get right there. There's player data, bronze. So, win any game with 100% kills. Reach Io or Angel or Carnage. No, by the way, like Io is basically moon of Jupiter, so you're basically playing around like, you know, the moons of Jupiter with like this one, obviously, because like, you know, Jupiter is a gas giant, and essentially like the planets around it, like or the moons around it, are basically where you can do stuff. So yeah, but it's basically like, you know, a bunch of like, you know, challenges and stuff like that. I'll go into that probably later, but whatever. We'll go into crest maybe like, you know, at like a later point, because there's probably like, you know, end credit basically when you win the game, perhaps. Alright, so you have like a in like, you know, the title screen help here. So you got the keyboard, controller, mouse UI, gameplay. So basic gameplay. Jupiter Hell is a turn-based, grid-based roguelike game. After every action you take, enemies take their action. The facing of the characters in the game doesn't matter, only their position. Your objective is to travel through the bases of the moons of Jupiter, Callisto, Europa, and Io, to reach the final boss. Pro tip, to defeat the end boss, shoot at it until it dies. Excellent pro tip. Play the tutorial to learn the basics of the combat. Afterwards, the advanced topics are available to browse on the left. So, essentially, like, you know, you can, like, you know, use this basically like to, like, you know, refresh yourself if you need to. So you got, like, speed up time, stuff like that. We'll jump in all this like at some more point, but basically just like, you know, a lot of like, you know, interesting mechanics they have for this game, so we'll get to that when we get to it. There was basically an update apparently since the release of this game, so what's new? So basically got like a changelog right here, you get the hotfixes and like, you know, other stuff, so experimental mouse support, massive trait improvements, 13 new early game exotics, 5 new advanced weapons, plus 1 SMGs, lots of fixes, balance tweaks, and more. So standard changelog basically does stuff. Well, I think I basically like, you know, messed you know, around enough basically here. Let's go into the tutorial and basically jump into that. So, tutorial. As this is your first time playing Jupiter Hell, we'll guide you through a short tutorial. This will take only a couple of minutes and introduce the turn-based, grid-based nature of the game, controls, and a primer of basic strategy. Alright, so, welcome! Welcome to Jupiter Hell! This is a turn-based, grid-based, permadeath dungeon crawling game, a classic roguelike. And yes, emphasis on the classic. It may not look classic, but this is a classic roguelike. The focus in this game, however, is on ranged combat. We'll walk you through in an introductory level, and then you can jump right into in. Be aware that this is a keyboard or gamepad only game, so put away the mouse. So yeah, by the way, this is like, you know, something to note about this game, by the way, is that this game was actually designed with laptops in mind, as well as like, you know, other like, you know, game systems and stuff like that. Basically, like, you know, the developer of this game, he actually like, you know, he made this basically very minimalist, and he made this like, you know, cardinal roguelike, because that basically like restricts you to like the 4 like, you know, up, down, left, right keys. And part of the reason for doing that is so that people on like the keyboard can actually play this game just as effectively as people on like, you know, a regular like keyboard and stuff like that. Basically to enable like, you know, everyone who wants to basically play the game to like be able to play the game. So, you know, there's something basically keep in mind with that, whatever. So let's just like put down the mouse. Alright, so hint. Press down arrow or D-pad down to move down. I like it. There's basically instructions for both the like, you know, controller as well as like the keyboard here. So follow the highlighted squares using the arrow pads or the D-pad. Now I have to say I really don't like the camera view, but I'm wondering if I can change that around a little bit, but we'll see as we go along. Now, note that basically what we're looking at right here, by the way. At the top, you can see what level we're basically on, so we're on the tutorial level. At the bottom, like, you know, bottom there, you can see on the left is basically Mark Tired, so that's our character, I guess. I guess that's like his name. There's Marine level 1, there's his health, there's his, like, you know, Fury, so you can see his, like, you know, his class, his level, his health, I guess how furious he is. Weapon and, like, you know, its weapon stats are basically another, like, you know, side of the screen, so we're using a 9mm pistol right now with 8 ammo. Alright, so you can only move in 4 cardinal directions. If you press directions fast enough, it may seem the character is moving diagonally, but in reality, there's 2 spaces blended up the speed of play. So I'll note that if you move fast enough, you'll actually see like this character, like, you know, sort of like swerve around like crazy. The direction you and other characters are facing doesn't matter. It's just official fluff, only the position in the grid counts. Note, the minimap and the level name in the top left corner, so, you know, branch depth is basically up there. The minimap is, like, you know, around it, I guess. Your character stats are in the bottom left, so basically, like, you know, there's our name, our character name, our class, our experience to level up. Alright, so to next level up, I actually need like 200 experience, so that's what that, like, you know, TNL basically means. Current health, class resource, so basically I'll note that Fury basically like the Marines like resource, I guess. Status effects, pain, dodge, buff, so best place is the bottom right there. We'll, you know, learn about that later on. Alright, so enemy spotted. His stats appear in the top right. Take special note of the chance you have to hit him. However, Jupiter Hell's a game of tactical positioning. Move right so you can lean from around the corner. So, for those who basically ever played Doom RL, in that game there's something like, you know, corner shooting, where you can basically, like, you know, take advantage of, like, your, like, you know, corners in the game to, like, you know, lean around corners, basically, like, you know, blind shoot people. They, like, sort of incorporate that feature here, where basically, like, you know, use, like, your terrain basically to help yourself out, and, like, you know, take out enemies that way. Now, note at the top, basically on the right there, so you have the enemy name of the, like, you know, former grunt. So for those basically who play the Doom, you know, the former grunts were like the main, like, you know, guys in the game. You have the enemy health, so it basically has, like, you know, 2, like, you know, pound signs. His enemy weapon is basically a millimeter pistol. His chance to hit basically is, like, you know, 2 hit basically 100%. Damage is 16. Alright, so follow the highlighted squares using the arrow keys or the D-pad. So tutorial. Oh, I note that I took like 16 health damage and we got, like, you know, some pain from that. So now you're behind cover. Note that there's a green indicator to the right of your character. Signifying that fact. It's basically like, you know, I'm next to like the wall, so I have a green indicator indicating I'm basically next to the wall. Green is your cover, red, if present, is enemy cover. So basically, like, the enemies can also get cover. It's like a famous game, so there's a lot for that. Both appear only if the enemy is targeted. Alright, so, note by the way, like, you know, this will actually probably, like, you know, matter if, like, there's multiple enemies and I have to, like, you know, deal with, like, you know, who's in cover I'm from and who's not in cover. So, now you can shoot him. Press F to shoot the currently targeted enemy. So, if you can see him, you can shoot him. Press F to fire. So, this is actually something note by way of Doom RL, by the way. Basically, in Doom RL, they have, like, blind firing, where basically you can fire around corners, and you may not be able to see the enemy, but if you know they're there, you can shoot your weapon around the corner and basically hit them. This game sort of, like, wanted to, like, you know, get rid of, like, some of, like, the, like, you know, so I would say, like, you know, features of Doom RL, because they were, like, you know, not intended features of the game. And they actually made it so, like, you know, in this game, you can't, like, you know, blind shoot people. You have to actually see what they're doing, and if they can see you, they can shoot you as well. So, this is something to throw out there. Alright, so, press F to fire. You fire your current weapon at the currently selected target. See your reticle around enemy. F to fire again. So notice he's only got, like, you know, 1 pound basically up there for, like, now, so we'll finish him off. You use 2 bullets. Better reload. Press R. It's good to reload after every engagement. So note this isn't a game where, like, you know, essentially like you run around like, you know, crazy. You're not, like, you know, juggling, like, you know, mags or anything like that in this game. So I reload, basically put, like, our 2, like, you know, ammo rounds basically from our reserve basically into a pistol. That's all I do. He drops some stuff, pistol and some ammo. Move to pick it up. Alright, so Press down to move down. Alright, so we're still following the damn, curses here. Alright, so press G. Now let's see that pistol. Before you pick it up, you get a free peek. Hold shift to compare the item on the ground with the one held. Seems it's the same, like all yellow weapons of the same class. Let's move on. So, if I press shift, there's like, his like pistol and there's my pistol, so you can see like, what's basically in the thing. So it's got like a magazine of like, 8. His has a magazine of 6. You can see its mods, you can see like its swap time, ranges, weapon group, damage, things like that. Now, I will note by the way that in like, Doom RL, it was possible to like, loot like the ammo from like an enemy's pistol, so I wonder if that'll be like a thing like, in this game or not. We'll just follow the tutorial for now, but like, we'll see how that goes basically later on. Move towards the door with the icon above it. You interact with stuff by bumping into it. So, bump to like do stuff, right? That'll probably like, come in handy later on, by the way, and if the bump to like attack and melee attack, basically stuff like that, so whatever. A medical supply box, you can bump into it as well. Medkits, go pick up one. Good. Items such as medkits are not used instantly, but stored in the inventory. Use it now, enter inventory, and select the medkit by pressing enter. So, based on our current health is like, we're like below by like, 16 there, so let's use it. So, a small medkit. Standard civilian issue medical kit. It probably won't save you, but may make you suffer a bit longer. So, basically keeps you alive. It heals 40 points of damage and removes negative status effects. So, obviously you probably wouldn't do this basically in like the real game where like, you waste like this much like health, but whatever.
That's better.
Alright, so there's basically one of the voiceovers of the character, by the way. Alright, nice. Let's go to the next room. Alright, so this guy has a shotgun. Fire at him so we can relieve him of it. Remember, the direction you and they are facing doesn't matter. So basically, like, even though like he's like, facing the other way, we're still gonna like, go after his former sergeant, like, kill him basically, so whatever. Now, note by the way, up at the top there, I think basically like, the two like, pound signs that are basically flashing, that indicates how much health you're basically gonna deal to him if you basically fired him, if like you hit him. So I'm basically gonna do like, 2/3 of his health when I basically fired him. Wow, that shot really hurt. If you look to your status bar at the bottom, you see that you have a significant pain modifier. It directly affects your chance to hit. So, I'm not basically like, pain is a thing in this game where like, if you take a lot of pain from like enemies, even if you have like, high health, if you're in a lot of pain, it doesn't really matter because like, you won't be able to hit anything anyways. Luckily you're a Marine, and you have an active skill that can help. Adrenaline can be used as long as you have enough fury, and it heals you a bit, and converts a portion of any pain value to health. Also, using a skill doesn't take time, so you can safely use it in the middle of combat. The Marine regains his class resources by killing enemies, so press 5 as indicated near the skills to activate it. So essentially, like, we have to basically, hit 5 to like get our adrenaline going. So basically, like, that heals us up a little bit, gets rid of our pain, gets rid of Fairy Fury too. So much better. Now you can finish him off. Fire with F. Alright, so note that the pain removing effect of adrenaline stays for a couple turns. So go pick up a shotgun. There are enemies here, but the shotgun will help. Notice that by holding shift while standing on a weapon, you can compare its stats to what you currently have. So there's basically a shotgun basically right there. It's got like, note by the way, everything has like different damage types. So you have like, impact damage from your pistol, you have like slash damage from like your shotgun. Its range is basically a lot less than a pistol, so it's basically a close combat weapon. It's got a spread of freeze, so basically like, it spreads out and like hits multiple targets. It's got a magazine of 1, it's got mods of like, nothing. So
shred them to pieces.
Damn it, it's empty. You need to pick up the shells. So I have to like move on to the shells, I guess. Ooh, lucky, I think I dodged that shot there, so very nice. And fire. Alright, now that was satisfying. Shotguns deal area damage, so they can get multiple kills with a single shot. Don't forget to reload after each shot though, because like of course like the shotgun needs to be reloaded after each shot. The shotgun is nice, but let's switch to the pistol again. You can carry up to 3 weapons, as seen on the bar in the bottom right. Press 1 to switch back to the pistol. So basically like we're like using our secondary weapon right now, so let's go back to the pistol. You are hurt. Luckily Marines start with an extra medkit, so you can still have one. Use it now, enter your inventory, select the medkit, and press enter. So, let's go in here, use this basically up.
That's better.
I think there's a bit of a tutorial message right there, but I was in like the inventory screen, so I really couldn't see it, so that's kind of an issue, but whatever. So, now let's go to the next room. I like how we're just leaving stuff on the ground there, but it makes sense. Move in, take a better look. Now here's an idea. Why not blow up those explosive barrels? To do so, you need manual targeting, press T, then move the target to the arrows, and press T again. So there's basically like a sort of like manual targeting in this game, so you can basically move around like your cursor to fire where you want to. And I hit the barrels here. They blow up. Oh yeah, that's a Doom reference for like if you ever saw one, but whatever. Boom! Barrels do more damage than a pistol shot, so it's worth using in your environment. Let's continue to the next room. You don't seem to have a sure shot on this ugly guy. You're behind cover, so you can try to wait and see what he's up to. Press other wait. So basically, I don't have a clear shot on this guy, so I'm just gonna like wait to see what he basically does, I guess. He didn't move closer, but things are good. Notice 2 buffs you received: Hunker, which further reduces your chance to be hit behind cover, and possibly the reason to he missed. The Aim, which you receive by waiting while having an enemy target, which increases your odds to hit smoothly. So fire. So basically, like because like this guy was like we basically waited and like hunkered down. We have better defense and we have like better aim. So after shooting, your buffs are gone. Since both of them apply only to one turn, you increase their values further by subsequent waiting, but he's almost dead. Try and finish him off. So basically, like, if you have to wait like a little bit, you'll basically get a better shot, but whatever. Another one down. It seems like there's a grenade on the floor. Let's check it out. Uh-oh. Someone spotted you grabbing your sweet loot. No worries. You can use the items directly from the ground by holding Shift and pressing G. How about we send this one his way? Use the grenade from the ground and press F to throw it at him. So I press like Shift. So yeah, you can actually use stuff on the ground like this, so we're just going to use this grenade which does slash damage. Note that it has an area of 2, so basically like a huge area, like not a huge area like a shotgun, but it does enough damage. It's got a range of 5. So it's like, throw it, and then we'll just press F.
Who's next?
Now wasn't that a beautiful view? The area seems clear. Move upwards towards the elevator. For the sake of introducing you to the equipment screen, why don't you leave your shotgun here? Enter the inventory screen and use the arrows to navigate between the panels. Once you find the equipment panel, highlight the shotgun and press D to drop it. So, it's like a thing you basically do, by the way. So yeah, basically there is like, there's like stuff in like, happening in the back there I can't really see, so. Okay, it's basically like, saying like first I get a tutorial, I think it's fine. Alright, so not really missing anything. Okay, so let's go between panels here. Alright, so there's my equipment screen, by the way. Basically, you can see like, or we basically have like, a body, a head, a utility, and a relic basically right there, so lots of stuff basically make use of later on. Let's just drop this. Good work. Head up upwards toward the elevator to finish the tutorial. So, alright, let's just get to like, finishing this tutorial then. Now, before I basically leave like, here, let's just like show off a little bit of our stuff basically. So yeah, no place if I basically hold down because you'll basically start running and stuff like that. And like, you know, if I basically like, you know, hold 2 keys at once, it looks like I'm running diagonal, but I'm actually like just like making like 2 moves like, at the same time. So, I'm running diagonal, but you know, it's not really diagonal. Congratulations on finishing the tutorial. Now you can start a new game and see how you fare in real combat. Just remember, the game is turn-based, no need to rush anything. So, yeah, note that this is a game you can play fast, but you know, you don't have to play fast. And like, you know, it's probably in your interest not to sometimes. Facing enemies doesn't matter, neither for you nor the enemies. Movement is only in 4 directions, diagonal movement is only a side effect of the animation system, and is 2 moves consecutively. You will level up and gain traits. Pick a master trait at the bottom and work towards getting it as soon as possible. Try to keep behind cover, note the enemy cover red. If you're in cover, it's best to break line of sight and make them pursue you. Alright, so. It didn't really go into traits, but you know, that's basically like a carryover from like Doom Morale, but whatever. Alright, so, that was basically like, you know, a quick little introduction to like Jupiter Hell. And like, you know, I'll basically go into like a real run basically like next time. But there's basically like, you know, an opening like, you know, to this game. We'll leave it here, and I'll basically, you know, come back to it. Now, before I basically continue on, I'll note that basically, there's a couple other things I probably like should know about this game, by the way. I will note that the voice actor for this game is actually, I believe, the same as like, you know, the one from like, the Mass Effect universe. Basically, the guy who plays like Shepard is actually the guy who like, you know, plays as the actor for like, you know, Mark Tyrell there, I guess, right there. And, well, other than that, I'll note that basically like the creators of like Doom, I forgot their names, but basically like the creators of like, you know, Doom, they actually like, you know, actually support like the creation of this game. So I figure that's like worth knowing as well. So I have high hopes for this game, and I'm like, you know, I'm happy I kickstarted it. So we'll see basically how it goes. We'll return to it, but until then, for now, take care.